And now on BBC Two, we join Jimmy Hill as England play Turkey in international football.
Good afternoon and welcome to International Football Special and the European Championship Group 4 match between Turkey and England. It comes really at a most unfortunate time for Bobby Robson's men, battle-scarred as they are at this stage of our marathon season, and in many cases with professional and commercial eyes on the domestic prizes still to be fought for. Yet having made a most encouraging start, a win today would virtually ensure England's place in next summer's European Championship final in West Germany. And the loss would be an open invitation to the Yugoslavs, who play Northern Ireland in Belfast tonight, to go for glory, knowing that England have to play them in Belgrade in November. Thus, an intriguing game. The Turks might not be looked upon as in England's class, but they could still make life quite difficult. Watching with me is Trevor Brooking and Peter Beardsley of Newcastle United and England, presently injured. But let's now go over to the Ataturk Stadium in Izmir and join match commentator John Motson.
Welcome to Izmir. You join us during the playing of the national anthems. And if you are watching pictures not of the best quality, we will apologise for that straight away. The pictures so far that the stadium is by no means full. The capacity here is 70,000. It's 6 o'clock in the evening Turkish time, but it's also the first day of a religious festival in Turkey, and that also has helped to keep the crowd down. It's decidedly cool as well, especially bearing in mind we thought the heat was the great danger at this time of the year in Izmir. In fact, they're having their coldest spell at the end of April for 10 years. And so the decision to put the kick-off time back was in the end hardly necessary. Let's take a check on the team news for this European Championship qualifier. Turkey field 9 of the side who beat East Germany so impressively in their last match. They're without their 2 first-choice strikers, but Erdal plays in West Germany for Borussia Dortmund, and Bobby Robson is highly conscious of his pedigree. Moving across to the England team, the good news this morning was that Brian Robson and Glenn Hoddle were both past fit, so Bobby Robson was able to choose the midfield he wanted, which means that Gary Mabbutt plays at centre-back for the first time for his country, alongside Tony Adams, who faces a stern test in only his second international. There are, in fact, 8 players in the starting team from Arsenal and Tottenham, and of the other 3, 2 of them, Gary Lineker and Chris Woods, play for clubs outside England. And the absentees, apart from Peter Beardsley, who's with us in the studio, Peter Shilton and Terry Butcher. Izmir on the Aegean coast. The average wage here in Turkey only £20 a week, so it may not surprise you to hear that the best seats for this match cost just £2. And indeed you can get into one of the cheaper sections for the equivalent of less than £1. But that hasn't brought the Turkish people exactly flocking in. As for England fans, there are about 100 here. 40 of them have come with a couple of recognised tour operators. The others have made their own way. And when they arrived in the stadium, they got something of a hostile reception from the Turkish supporters. They have been moved now, the England fans, to a special section. Turkey are wearing red shirts and white shorts. The referee and the linesman are all from the Soviet Union. And away we go, England playing from left to right. Kenny Sansom on the far side. Number 4 for Turkey is Ali Çoban, the most capped player in the side. And Lineker nearly in to challenge the goalkeeper straight away. Ismail is number 2. Robson quickly forward, trying to get it back from Lineker. Here's Viv Anderson. Ismail. 8 there is Erdal, the West German professional. Savaş. Number 7, Ur. Savaş again. In the way was Adams. Number 9 here is Hassan. Offside against number 7, Ur. He too has had experience in West Germany with Bayern Munich. There's quite a strong connection between the two countries because many Turkish migrants have moved to West Germany to find work and have brought families up there. England have yet to concede a goal in this European Championship group. And Turkey, who've yet to score against England in previous meetings. Here's Hoddle. Cleared by Savaş. Chris Waddle intercepting for England. Glenn Hoddle out on the left. This is floated towards Gary Lineker with the volley. And number 2 is Ismail for the Turks, playing on the left-hand side of midfield. Looks for Hassan, who is onside, testing Tony Adams. Here's Waddle. Bear in mind that when England won 8-0 here in their previous visit to Turkey, that was in Istanbul, that match, Turkish side was very different from the one which their new coach has got together today. The people here are expecting a much better performance from the Turks this time round. This is Waddle. Flag was up. Handball given. About to take the free kick is Erhan. That was Ismail. And England will be hoping to deaden what atmosphere there is here today by setting their stall out in this opening quarter of an hour. Adams, Ismail, 7, Ur. Trying to find Rezer on the far side. This is Rezer, and that's a foul. Steve Hodge. And a free kick to Turkey. Hassan and Erdal have taken up positions in the centre. Savaş. Erhan again, number 5. Hurt his ankle in the last training session yesterday morning, the bearded sweeper of the Turkish team, but was past fit first thing today. So there have been some late team selections on the part of both managers because of injury worries. This is Kenny Sansom, Gary Mabbutt. Understand that you're now watching in black and white because of the problems with the colour pictures. Bring back a few memories, no doubt. Hodge for England. And away by Ali. Iskender to Savaş. Iskender. Number 7, Uğur. Razar on the far side. Hassan had moved out right. Iskender, Savaş. Clive Allen. Good looking ball by him. Gary Lineker had spread wide. Hodge. Erdal. And the free kick's been given. Erdal, the player fouled. Chris Woods possibly facing his first test here. Iskender is the number 11 with the powerful shot, and it was finally Savaş who put the ball well over the bar. 7.5 minutes gone here in Izmir. Turkey 0, England 0 in the European Championship, on a day when England could take a giant step forward towards a place in West Germany next summer. A good result here, and something for Northern Ireland at the expense of Yugoslavia could virtually see us there. Understand that the pictures you're watching are still in black and white, but we shall hope that the Turkish television service, with their various links, will be able to restore colour transmission before very long. Kenny Sansom to take the throw for England. Tony Adams was up for that. Hassan trying to break for Turkey. Gary Mabbutt right at the back for England. And they've left plenty of players forward here, England, but it's overhit. This is Ismail. Oh, he's given it away to Clive Allen. Well, and he obviously feels confident enough to play the ball around again on the edge of his own penalty area, the number 2. Now the other fullback's at it. Uğur. Ismail got hurt in all that. Uğur again. He's gone down too. Erdal. Savaş. Erdal. Turkish medical staff rushing to the touchline because Uğur copped a late tackle there. Those two meetings in the World Cup qualifiers last time round were the only occasions that England and Turkey have met at full international level. England won in Istanbul 8-0, as I said, when Brian Robson got a hat-trick, and then at Wembley in the return put 5 goals without reply past Turkey, and Gary Lineker got a hat-trick. So it's 13-0 on the 2 meetings so far. Turkey in possession with Uğur, the injured player. Now Savaş. Uğur again. And again a free kick. Brian Robson stamping in a bit there. Understand your colour pictures have returned. So you can see that it's the red shirts of Turkey pushing forward a little bit here. And the shot really came in loose towards Hasan in the end. It was struck initially by Savaş, but the ricochet nearly favoured the number 9. Here's Ali Çoban. Been playing for 10 minutes. And here's Glenn Hoddle for England. Adams. Mabbutt. Over to Kenny Sansom. It's an all London-based back four here. Free from Arsenal. Oh, Lineker took a late challenge there. That was number 3, Semih, who's been deputed to man-mark Gary Lineker and took it rather too literally there. That'll depend on how much action the Soviet referee is prepared to take early in the match, because already there have been 1 or 2 late tackles from players on both sides. Just in case you're switching on at this moment, nearly 12 minutes gone in Izmir. England in white, 0-0 with Turkey. And when Gary Lineker gets back into action, there will be a free kick to England. That's Mustafa Denizli, the current Turkish coach. Viv Anderson has gone forward for this free kick. Played short for Waddle. Hoddle again. Anderson's calling on the far side. Robson was in there too. And as play spreads out, Hasan for Turkey, number 9. Erdal well forward, so too here is Uğur. And Adams steps in, and Hasan couldn't make anything of it. Ismail. Semih. Ismail. Stretching a bit there, and Erdal was brought down by Anderson. String of free kicks in these opening stages. Hasan has been joined in the centre by Erhan here. Erhan, in fact, has made a run across the area. Goalkeeper Fatih has been restored for this match because he has a height advantage over Şenol, who's been keeping goal in the recent internationals. Talking of height, Mark Hateley is one of the England substitutes. You may want to know that it's Dave Watson, David Seaman, Trevor Stephen, Mark Hateley and John Barnes on the bench today. On by Hasan, back by Adams. Ismail, Savaş, Erhan, Erdal, forward by Anderson, who's still suffering the effects of a knock he took in the last collision when in fact he was penalised. Was up there with Erdal. This is Adams, Hodge, Sansom, Lineker's flick, Brian Robson well forward, and here's an interception by number 7, Uğur. Situation with a quarter of an hour gone. hours ahead of you here in Turkey. It's just after 6:15. And a very strong wind, which won't make life any easier for the players on this blustery day. Blowing in from the Bay of Izmir on the Aegean Sea on Turkey's west coast. Number 7 is Ur. Seen plenty of the ball early on. Ismail, Ur going again, Anderson covering. England yet to find a way of releasing Lineker or Allen. That is Allen, in fact. They might do something here. Hoddle has pushed well forward in the centre. Waddle. Knocked off the ball, but barely, said the referee. And offside, surely, against Hassan. Sansom. Allen. That's Chris Waddle. Sansom. Determined run by Kenny Sansom. Brian Robson helping it on. And it's going to be a corner to England, given away by Reserve. The plan is for Tony Adams to go forward for these and do the job that Terry Butcher would have done. Glenn Hoddle has gone across to curl it in. Anderson's up there too with Adams. Nearly fell for Mabbutt. It's going to fall for Waddle. Flags up. Flags up on this side for an offside in the centre. Keep an eye on these linesmen, because yesterday in the under-21 match played at a smaller stadium in this same city, England looked rather unfortunate to have a goal disallowed for offside. Robert Rosario of Norwich thought he'd scored when he came on as a substitute, but it was wiped out in a match when the young England side created 3 or 4 very good chances, couldn't finally get the goal they deserved. Erdal. He looks an accomplished player. Rezer is the player out on the far side. Iskender. Ismail. Just a couple of points for the mums who may be watching. This is the last time you'll see this particular England kit. It's being redesigned, and the new version is, I understand, being launched in London tomorrow, and England will be wearing the new style shirts as from their next international against Brazil. And a further note for the ladies, the tradition in Turkey that any women that want to come and watch football are admitted free of charge. No, I haven't seen too many in the crowd here so far. Here's Semi then for Turkey. Hassan. Semi again. I know quite a few young supporters do like to have England shirts as presents at birthdays and Christmas. Chris Woods there in the smart all grey goalkeeping outfit normally worn by Peter Shilton. This is Gary Lineker. Steve Hodge bursting forward. But so far, the Turks looking determined and fairly disciplined in defence. How long that was going to last, I'm not sure, because they opened up well enough in the match in Istanbul in '84 and then absolutely collapsed once England scored. They're playing with a sweeper behind 2 marking defenders. And here he is, in fact, Erhan, the free man. Anderson. Been playing for 20 minutes. Turkey 0, England 0. Match coming live to you from Izmir in the European Championship. Reza marking Hodge there. Here's Hoddle. Kenny Sansom trying to retrieve his position, tumbling across number 7, Ure. Erhan takes the free kick. Reserve. Sansom. Allen. Not really very much shape to the game so far. This is Viv Anderson. Robson. Lineker's in there. He's lost his footing slightly. The pitch is well grassed, but it's firm and flat. Ismail. Ure. Erdal. He really does look their best player. Iskender out on the right. Reserve. Ure. On to Erhan. These Turkish names may sound rather strange to you. And, I must confess they're a bit of a battle for me too, but they're known by their Christian name in Turkey rather than the surname. Erhan now. So they would call this fellow Chris. And this one Glenn. Hodge. Steve Hodge. The goal. England looking for a little bit of a landmark here today in terms of Bobby Robson's management. It's his 55th match in charge, and England's goal tally over that period currently stands at 98. So whoever puts in number 2 today, if number 2 should come along, and we haven't had number 1 yet, it'll be 100 up for England under Bobby Robson. But the main business here is to win the match and take 2 important points in the group. Erhan. That was a trip. A very blatant one too. Steve Hodge, who's already been spoken to for 1 tackle, has now perpetrated another. And Mustafa there, the 41-year-old Turkish coach who played 33 times for the international team. This is Ure, number 7. Iskender on the far side, number 11. Ure again. Savaş, number 10. Iskender. He's playing on the right, but he's predominantly left-footed, the number 11 for Turkey. Here's Ismail. Hassan. Ismail. Erdal. On again to Erhan. Nearly 25 minutes gone. Turkey 0, England 0, and there's some taunting of supporters going on away to my left, where the Turkish fans are making gestures towards the little colony of English fans, who thankfully at the moment are somewhat unmoved. Allen. Erdal against Robson. Again, good play by the number 8 for Turkey. He's looking a highly accomplished international footballer, Erdal, as would befit a member of one of the Bundesliga sides in West Germany. England still to make an impression here, really, with 26 minutes gone. But Hodge on the far side. Waddle heads it back, but the ball is out for a goal kick. Turkish players drawn mainly from the big clubs in Istanbul. There are 5 from Galatasaray, where Don Howe was coach for a short period, so he's had a little bit of experience out here. The England number 2. But the current league leaders here at the moment are Besiktas, and they have 2 players in the team, or in the nominated squad anyway. Allen with the goalkeeper. Sansom to Hodge. Well, the first goal did take a while to come when England put those 8 past the Turks in the World Cup, and it hasn't arrived so far today after 27 minutes. Hoddle, Lineker, Waddle. Robson has joined the crowd of players in the penalty area, but it's Semih here to Ismail. So Robson can stay forward. Tony Adams has now come forward as well. Hodge knocking it back in. Anderson is there. And that volley from Clive Allen, well wide of the goal. I gather that Clive Allen has volunteered to take penalties today, should any be awarded to England. Keen to add to his tally, which for Tottenham this season stands at 47. Couldn't get that. Allen's trying, and there's an appeal for a foul by Erhan on Allen. I don't think you get those decisions very often away from home. Anybody coming in? Nearly half an hour gone in Izmir. Turkey 0, England 0, and no signs so far of many scoring opportunities at all. Neither goalkeeper really stretched. That comes off Iskender for an England throw. Sansom to Robson. Free kick to Turkey. Iskender. Savaş. Forward by Ali Çoban. Still a chilling breeze blowing around the stadium. Most of us fact, the wrong clothes for this trip. And that's Erdal with Hassan waiting in the centre, and the challenge came in from Chris Waddle. A free kick's been given in Erdal's favour. Hassan and Erhan have taken up positions on the far side of the area. Ali Choban is forward as well, and Iskender to take. And Savash coming through for what would have been a spectacular volley had he caught it right. Got away from work early, just after 4:30. It's 31 minutes gone here in Izmir, and we're still waiting for the first goal. A couple of speculative shots, and that's about it so far. Here's Hoddle. Allen. Little Tottenham connection there on the edge of the area. Leaving the throw here for Gary Mabbutt, which is the signal for Tony Adams to make his way forward. But the goalkeeper able to meet him quite calmly. Batir. Erdal offside, but it's a good-looking ball to Hassan. And in these very gusty conditions, I think goalkeepers will relish too many swirling crosses if and when they come in. Lineker, the player, fouled, and England able to thrust Anderson, Adams and Robson into the penalty area again. Robson up with the goalkeeper, Anderson, but a foul's been given. Viv Anderson did score his first England goal in Turkey, in Istanbul, and he was hoping there to thrive on something spinning off the goalkeeper's hands, but the jump by Robson had already been penalised. There he is again, the England captain, Hoddle, Waddle. Anderson, Waddle, corner. No, apparently not. Goal kick. 34 minutes then have been played. Turkey mathematically are not out of the European Championship, but it seems to be more or less accepted, with all due respect to Northern Ireland, that this group is going to fall between England and Yugoslavia in terms of the one qualifying place. And England started this match with maximum points and no goals against. Ure for the Turks. Razar. Iskender. Savash. Here's Anderson. quite a passion for football in Turkey, but the crowd here would have to be described as disappointing. It's a country of some 52 million people, and the unemployment rate about 15%. Here's Hassan. Ali Choban. Hodge looking for Allen. This is possibly an opening for England, but it's running on and out. Well, Turkey will be pleased with the first 35 minutes here, having been hammered twice by England in the World Cup. They've certainly put on a respectable show in the first half in Izmir. Not that Chris Woods has had very much to do in the way of saves, but neither, on the other hand, has the Turkish goalkeeper in what's so far been a pretty uneventful international. Ali Choban, Glenn Hoddle, Sansom. Hoddle and Sansom combining. Robson got a foot in there. Erhan. Ball's out on the far side. Hodge is forward here for England. Allen is following up. Hoddle. Semir. Iskender. Hassan's making a run through the centre, and he's onside, and Erdal is in the middle, dangerously positioned. Mabbutt's able to clear unchallenged. First sign there of the through pass, which the Turks, on the evidence of their previous match against East Germany, like to exploit to get players running from deep positions. Iskender. Razar. Iskender. Looks for Savaş. There he is. Savaş won that all too easily in midfield, really. Hassan on to Erdal. Anderson got a foot in. Ismail. Robson also got there, and now it's Waddle. England breaking with Lineker and Allen taking up central positions. Chris Waddle against Erhan, and he's past him, but not past the covering man. Turkey would appear to have improved their defensive organisation since last time round. And with 38 minutes gone, it's no score. And they're on the attack with Iskender, but England now can pick it up with Hoddle. Allen, his first touch had been better there, we would have had that. Here's Waddle. Allen couldn't quite get that one under control, but the chance had gone then for him, and it was Waddle who tried his luck. For any latecomers, there are about 5.5 minutes to half-time here in Izmir, and the score is Turkey 0, England 0. Hodge to Hoddle. Mabbutt. Sansom. Free kick, surely. Despite the protests from Semir, it was a foul on Lineker, the man he's marking. And indeed, he's roughed him up a couple of times. Glenn Hoddle preparing for the kick over on the far side. Robson forward again. Adams also there. Hodge came out to, Erhan cleared. Anderson hooked back in by Robson. And we had 3 players there in threatening positions, but the Turks able to cover. Iskender, number 11. Razar. Iskender. Oh, he's got a good turn of pace and some tidy close skills, Iskender. And Steve Hodge will have to watch it a bit. It's another foul. Hassan, Ur and Erdal waiting on the edge of the area for this free kick. Ismail's gone forward as well. There he is. They appealed against him for handball, and it was. Free kick to England with 4 minutes left in the first half. Mabbutt to Adams. Anderson. Waddle, Allen. Not the best of returns, that, between the 2 Tottenham players. Hassan, number 9. Free kick. Brian Robson was bundled over by Hassan. Here's Adams. Across to Sansom. Through to Lineker. Sansom again. Sansom's cross. Robson was unmarked. Hodge on the far side. Sansom to Hoddle. Robson makes the run offside. It mattered. The goalkeeper was in command. Here's Ismail. Ure. Number 7's played quite well in the first half in midfield for the Turks. Here's Savaş. And the sweeper finding time to get well forward here, Erhan. And he may get it back, and Erdal is in the middle, and there was a bit of danger there for England. It wasn't the best cross in the world, but there was an opening. And Turkey, who've been insisting that their football has improved a great deal over the last couple of years, may be going some way in this first half towards proving that against an England team who so far haven't found a way of piercing the Turkish defence, or indeed finding the inspiration from midfield. Under 2 minutes left in the opening period, and it's 0-0. Adams got caught coming forward. Hassan. Robson for England. Hoddle. Lineker says, bring it, bring it. And then comes off his marker to turn beautifully. Foul on the edge of the area on Gary Lineker by Ali Çoban. Lineker's taken some hefty tackles. They know he's the danger man. 3 international hat-tricks to his name, including one against the Turks. So in the final minute of the first half, England have a free kick in a threatening position. Mabbutt and Adams look as though they're both going forward for it. Mabbutt, Anderson and Adams is the lineup on the far side of the area, in fact. Hoddle chips it, and Anderson comes in and appeared to have his run blocked there by a defender. Not that you get much for that, but we're coming up to the 45 minutes now. There haven't been many scoring opportunities. That was half a chance maybe, but not too much to write home about, as they say, at half-time in Izmir. Neither goalkeeper properly extended, Turkey playing for pride today and doing so pretty well from their point of view. England not finding the imagination to turn them over in the first half, which ends with a score of Turkey 0, England 0.
Well, you've seen the apologies for the quality of the picture during the afternoon. May I apologise for the quality of the football that you've been witnessing. I don't know what Peter Beardsley has done to anger the gods, but to have to comment on that at this particular point of time, Peter, is not a very nice job. Would you have a go and tell us what you thought of that first half?
Well, obviously it wasn't easy for the lads. I think the Turks have probably surprised the lads the amount of football they're playing. You know, they are trying to play a bit, and I think Bobby Robson said it a month ago, they're not as bad a side as they were when we won 8-0. And I think, to be fair, they're showing that today. You know, they're trying to play, and they're getting round the back a couple of times, and they could cause the problems if we're not careful.
I wouldn't expect you not to defend the England players, you know, in the performance, but didn't it appear a little lethargic, could we say?
Yeah, I think the boss will be disappointed. You know, the lads haven't really got going. I think the lads themselves will be disappointed, and obviously in the second half they've got to do a lot better.
Well, here's a man, of course, who predicts more goalless draws than the rest of us put together. Trevor Brooking, I mean, how did it come true so well for
No,
you?
it looks grim, doesn't it? I think, you know, the build-up to the game, really, you wondered what was going to happen today because you had all the injury problems, you know, 2 or 3 of the experienced lads missing, a lot of games over the Easter period, and really that has, I think, been illustrated in the first 45 minutes. The lads have defended well, they've battled, but there's not the sort of little sharpness or flair going forward. I mean, the midfield, I think, the Turkish lads, number 11 who plays wide on the right, Iskender, looks a tricky little player, Erdal, number 8, and Euro, the little number 7 as well. They've controlled that midfield area, and really Clive Allen, who's come in for Peter, probably has been disappointed in the first half, but he hasn't had a lot of service and support, and it's really going forward that we've got the problems at the moment.
Well, we'll hear a little more about that exciting first half in a moment, but I've been watching all week, as you have, I'm sure, the Embassy World Snooker Championships and the exciting shots there. We haven't had many on the football field this afternoon, and I trust they haven't any colour problems up in Sheffield. But anyway, let's join David Vine.
The only colour problems, Jimmy, is making sure which ball they put down, as you say, after 17 days. And thank goodness our snooker is a bit more exciting than the first half of your football. I'm sure it will get better. If you were with us earlier, you know the 2 stories of today, that Joe Johnson, the defending champion, is through to the semi-finals. He's beaten the young Scot, Stephen Hendry. And Jimmy White has won his match against Dean O'Kane of New Zealand. Lot more exciting snooker to come. We'll have it for you later on BBC Two and throughout the night here. But who's going to get to the final? Well, that's on Sunday and Monday, and if you haven't got a ticket, there's only one way you can now get one. We're going to offer you 2 tickets, all expenses paid, put you up all sessions of the final, and that, of course, is our shot of the championship competition. The experts here, the commentators and the summarisers, have picked them out this year. So, as they would say in football, here we go, the 7 contenders for this year's shot of the championship. Watch this lot, try and pick out which ones you think are going to be the top 3. No snooker championship would be complete without Ted Lowe, locked away in his commentary box overlooking the table. Ted, the senior voice of the game, was very impressed with the youngest player, Stephen Hendry, in his first-round match against Willie Thorne.
Indeed, David, yes. Young Stephen came to the Crucible Sheffield to meet Willie, and the game of snooker, in my mind, is all about potting balls. This young fellow from Scotland has potted the most amazing balls, in my opinion. Just look at this one. Right underneath the bolt cushion. Perfect control. Cue ball back for the green. Clears the table and wins the match. He'll do for me, David, in any competition.
Shot A, then. Stephen Hendry's. Well, John Spencer, who's won this World Championship on 3 occasions, has spent a lot of time in the commentary box with Ted Lowe, and there was one shot which caught his eye.
Yes, it was in the match with Terry Griffiths and Alex Higgins, and in what turned out to be the last frame of the match. It's not a difficult shot, but Terry, most players would have played this possibly to go down for the blue or one of the bold colours to be safe, but Terry made it a lot more difficult by playing a very delicate slow screw. and went on to win the frame from that shot.
Shot B, played by Terry Griffiths. Well, Jack Carnham was another of the famous voices of snooker, and Jack, you were watching Stephen Hendry in his second round match, but I think you really had your eyes on Stephen Longworth.
Yes, I did, David. It was an excellent match. The two young men, they were really battling it out and trying to get on top, you know, in the early stages of the match. And suddenly, Steve Longworth needed 2 balls, and he was left with this position when he could well have been tempted into having a go. But he plays the most delicate of shots under extreme pressure and takes the cue ball off the blue, and the cue ball goes beautifully round the table, knocking the blue on the side cushion, and he drops right on that pink 100%, and that really is a super shot.
Shot C, the snooker by Steve Longworth. Player Jim Meadowcroft is one of our expert summarisers here at the World Championship, and he saw something in the match between Mike Hallett and Silvino Francisco. Mike Hallett, the player.
That's right, David. This, in actual fact, is a 4-ball plant that Mike Hallett picked out, and he's just sizing the shot up now. And it's one of those occasions when, if it goes in, it could be a frame winner. If he missed it, he could have lost the frame. But he carried on to pot the brown, and then went on eventually to win the frame.
Shot D, the Mike Hallett 4-ball plant. Clive Everton has something to say about a shot by Alex Higgins against John Wright, but perhaps not a typical Alex Higgins shot.
Well, I don't know about that. This is a good shot to actually pot this pink, but in fact, it's not as daring as it looks at first glance. He plays the pink, hugs the cushion. Good shot that it goes in, but he wouldn't have left anything even if it hadn't gone in, because it would have blocked the pocket. Good thinking.
Shot E, Alex Higgins, the delicate rolling pink. John Virgo saw a shot from Neil Foulds. He was in a good position to see it. He was playing him at the time.
Yes, not for the first time. I thought I'd got Neil in trouble as I walked away from the table and saw this position. I thought, well, there's no way that Neil can get me safe. And when he was taking on the red, I still thought there was a chance. But what a pot it turned out to be. And of course, the tremendous cue power that Neil's got. Screwing back for a colour, and in the end he won the frame off the break he got.
Shot F, Neil Foulds, potting the red and position afterwards. Well, Eddie Charlton is the voice from Down Under we've been enjoying this year, and Eddie got very enthusiastic about something that Jimmy White did in his match against John Parrott.
Yes, David, it was in the frame that Jimmy went on to make his 114 break, and it was getting from black to yellow. Jimmy was addressing the cue ball at 5 o'clock, and just look at this shot where he swerves the white between pink and blue, and it looks as if its speed is spent, but it fizzed off the ball cushion with the side that was still on it for absolutely ideal position.
Shot G, Jimmy White controlling the cue ball. Well, as for me, there was only one shot in it. Just about the most remarkable break-off you'll ever see. I shan't forget it for a long time. Rex Williams will probably never forget it.
Ball 5, Murdo McLeod.
I've never done that before.
And he will probably never do it again. But as that would be such an obvious winner, it doesn't get onto the list. So just to remind you, here are the 7 contenders for this year's Shot of the Championship. Shot A, an example of the potting of Stephen Hendry, the yellow ball. Shot B, the well-thought-out red by Terry Griffiths to start a winning break. Shot C, the player Steve Longworth, the snooker, the cue ball rolling right up beside the pink in the jaws of the pocket. Shot D, Mike Hallett with the 4-ball plant. Shot E, Alex Higgins, not a typical Higgins shot, that delicate rolling pink. Shot F, Neil Foulds, not just the red, but position afterwards. And shot G, Jimmy White, making the cue ball do miracles. All you have to do is to pick what you think will be the top 3. They'll be judged here by an independent panel. And your entries on postcards only, please. This is how you do it. First choice, second choice, third choice. Put your name and address and a daytime telephone number. And this is the address to send the entry to. Shot of the Championship, BBC Television, Crucible Theatre, 55 Norfolk Street, Sheffield, with our normal postcode S147UP. Postcards only, please. You must get your entry in at the very latest by first post Friday, May the 1st. First post Friday, May the 1st, and the result will be announced here later that day. I wish you luck. Another running of our competition tape, which we put together a couple of days ago, giving you the chance to win those tickets. Suddenly thought, hope they're not watching this in Turkey, because as we're paying all the expenses, and if we get a right card from Turkey, it could just about put us out of business. Just before we go back to that football match, England versus Turkey, here's the state of the game here at the Crucible Theatre. Well, as I said, Joe Johnson has got through today, Jimmy White has got through. There's the latest score in the match being played. Neil Fold 6, Mike Hallett 6, that's played to a finish. And tonight, Steve Davis and Terry Griffiths also going to a finish. Davis with a 10-5 lead. We'll be back with snooker here from the Crucible after the football. That should be around about 10 to 6. We're on again this evening and, of course, in Sports Night. But now, coming up next, as they say, the football. England versus Turkey, second half. And, Jimmy, if you're still playing this game of snooker, just watch out for all those fouls you used to commit when I saw you at the table.
Fouls indeed. They have lovely music with their shots as well up there. I can tell you the shots in that first half. Turkey had 5 goal attempts, England had just 2. When it came to fouls, Turkey 8, England 15. And if you still want to back Turkey, you can get 9 to 1 on them. Not bad at sort of half-time. But I'm going to ask Peter Beardsley here, one, how your injury is. That's the first question.
Well, it's progressing quite nicely. You know, it's been sort of 10 days now, and the physio at Newcastle is quite pleased with it. So hopefully within the next 10 days I'll be back in training.
A lot of talk about you leaving Newcastle. What's the latest position there?
Well, the latest position is, as it's always been really, I've still got a year to go on my contract, and at the moment I'm looking forward to doing that. You know, we've almost seen off relegation, hopefully, and next year we'll still be a First Division team, and hopefully I'll be with them.
Do you think they're capable of being a successful First Division team next year, with your help?
I think we've got a chance of maybe winning one of the cups. I don't think we're going to win the league, you know, nobody's kidding themselves. But with the tremendous support we've got, we must have a chance of beating most teams at home.
Trevor, what would you be saying if you were Bobby Robson at this moment?
Well, Neil Fold and Jimmy White warm up, I should think. No, I would have said that naturally he's got to look at trying to lift his lads, because going forward, I mean, what, one chance, as far as I can remember, that was Gary Lineker, if you remember Glenn Hoddle's long cross, and really he's got 2 lads on the bench, John Barnes and Mark Haitley, who he can bring on. It's a case of weighing up. 0-0, I want really to win, but I don't want to take too many chances and let in a silly goal. I mean, if they get a win here today, really, it does put them in a very strong position. But they've got to go to Yugoslavia, and it depends what happens in Northern Ireland tonight when Yugoslavia go there. But it's a case of weighing up the substitutions. But I think John Barnes and Mark Haitley could well be brought on if the first 20 minutes doesn't really see an improvement to what we saw in that first 45.
Is that sort of lethargy, and I mention that word again because that's what it appears to be. You know, you can't play football.
It's a good word today. Yeah.
Is it this stage of the season? Is it a physical thing or is it a mental thing?
I think it's a mental thing. I mean, you've just come through all those games. I mean, we've got, you know, the North London 8 players, 3 with Arsenal and 5 with Spurs, and possibly I think it's affecting more than anyone really.
Yeah. So would you expect England to crack that stern Turkish defence in the second half?
I mean, I think the most it looks like is a 1-0 game, doesn't it? I mean, I don't think we ever expected 8-0, but we were hoping to get a couple of sort of goal victory. But I would have said 1-0, I'll be happy.
Peter?
Yeah, I'll be happy with 1-0. I think at the end of the day, the 2 points are all that matter, like Trevor says, and, you know, it's proven harder than we thought, I think. Yeah. And hopefully if they can win, obviously it puts us in a good position. Yeah.
You say the 2 points is all that matter, and that's the professional view, you know, the hard professional view. A lot of people sitting out there at home who think that entertainment is what matters, you know, and even those that paid £2 in Izmir Trev. I mean, is it more important, or is the 2 points that all that matters?
Yeah, and as a player, when you go out there, you want to play well, you want to win well. It's just when you get out on the pitch, it's at the moment, particularly in midfield, we're not finding it easy to get hold of it, and it's now psychologically coming to a stage where we'll just get goal side, and we're not really flowing as we have done in previous games. It's going to be one of those matches where you're going to come off, particularly as a midfield and a forward player. Well, I didn't really enjoy that, but hopefully we've got a result, and certainly from the viewers back home, it is disappointing because we've had a really good season, haven't we, after the World Cup, and a big build-up, what with Brazil and Scotland coming up, so it is a shame.
Well, it can't be any worse. Let's hope it gets better as we join John Motson in Izmir.
Well, I'm not actually taking any of the blame, Jimmy, but I can tell you that there are no substitutes on at the start of the second half on either side. There you can see Clive Allen and Gary Lineker waiting to start proceedings. And Trevor made the point about John Barnes and Mark Hateley. Well, we shall have to wait and see if they're used later in this half. Certainly a disappointing opening 45 minutes with only the 2 goal-scoring attempts, really, by England. But it surely can't get any worse. This is Gary Mabbutt. It also does serve to underline the ever-closing gap between what used to be the pushover teams in world football. There are now none. Turkey on the attack, and Iskender came through there and laid the ball off to Savaş, whose shot, fortunately for us, was straight at Chris Woods. A good bright attack by Turkey at the start of the second half. Iskender got moving first of all, but Savaş has found 1 or 2 good positions from midfield. Hoddle, Waddle, Sansom. Right across to the other fullback, Viv Anderson. Hoddle, Waddle, and again trying to feed it through to Anderson, but haven't been many telling passes from that position so far. And Turkey's defence has remained comfortably intact with their 2 markers on Allen and Lineker, and their sweeper able to more or less take his pick where he goes, offside. I think it was Trevor making the point about internationals coming at the wrong time of the season. That's not to serve as an excuse, but this April the 29th date doesn't have happy memories for England. It was on this day that we were knocked out of the European Championship by West Germany back in '72, and also a draw at home to Romania on April the 29th made our qualification for the '82 World Cup very difficult. Here's Allen. The Easter programme taking its toll, not just of tired limbs, but also of Bobby Robson's choices. Here's Hodge. It looked rather closer than it was, that. Memories at the moment of the first international of the season against Sweden, when England played so poorly and were beaten 1-0 in a friendly. Couldn't really get out of second gear that night, and they haven't done so far today. But here's Anderson, and he has found some space. Lineker and Allen waiting in the centre. Waddle. Erhan in the way. Hoddle. Looks for Hodge. Sansom. And it's Hoddle again. Clearance goes beyond Brian Robson, and now Turkey have a break on. Hassan is free on this side. Erdal has gone through the centre, and Iskender is forward here. This is Savaş again. Goodness me, he can fire them. The flag stayed down, even though Viv Anderson appealed. And it was again Savaş, number 10, who hit the shot. He certainly caught them very cleanly, these two strikes early in the second half. Savaş, the man with the powerful shot, 26 years old, plays for a team called Samsunspor on the edge of the Black Sea, who are surprise title challengers this season. Here's Hoddle, and Lineker's in here, and he goes down, but nothing is given. At last there was a little bit of daylight there in the Turkish defence, uncovered by Glenn Hoddle. Five minutes gone in the second half. Turkey 0, England 0. And if you did miss the first half and you're just coming in from work, well, you weren't a bad judge, because it was, to say the least, very disappointing. Hodge. Allen waiting in the centre, and Lineker, and Allen. Well, there's just a sign early in the second half that England are playing with rather more verve and punch. Certainly getting the ball into the penalty area quicker anyway. Rizar. But here for Turkey is Iskender. He's got Erdal up with him, and Hassan. Erdal, and he's found a way through, and a fine save by Chris Woods. And Erdal almost puts Turkey in front. The number 8 based in West Germany, he got clear, offside appeals turned down, and a good shot and a good save by Peter Shilton's deputy. Let that not be overlooked. Rizar is there to head it back in. Hassan is up with Woods. Always a test for a goalkeeper when he hasn't had a great deal to do, whether he can respond at the right moment, and Woods certainly did. There was power in the shot, and the England defence caught absolutely cold and square. Lineker. Oof. This is Anderson. Just over 7 minutes gone in the second half, and a clear indication from the Turkish team there that they've grown in confidence, having kept England out in the first 45 minutes. So different from the match in Istanbul 2.5 years ago, when England scored 8 without reply. Hoddle, the furthest man forward there, after Robson had initially won the ball. Number 7 is Uhr, well pronounced by Trevor Brooking, I noticed at half-time. Brian Robson penalised. Savaş, the player who went down, but no overacting from him. Shevchenko, the referee, wants to get on with things as quickly as possible. Rizar with the kick then for Turkey. Up goes Hassan, beats Mabet. It's quite dark out there now, and the floodlights are on here in Izmir. Here's Chris Waddle. Anderson has moved forward, so has Hodge. Anderson forces the corner. Which Glenn Hoddle will take. Tony Adams has come forward. Allen and Lineker both in there too, and Gary Mabbutt now arriving. Brian Robson in with Mabbutt, who's now got to make a recovery run. Iskandar came off Mabbutt's foot actually. Steve Hodge is covering, and it was Hassan who was hoping to force the error. Sanson. Hodge. 10 minutes gone in the second half. I'm sure there are those switching on all the time. The score is 0-0, and England haven't done very much so far to suggest it will get any better. This is Hoddle though. Robson. There has been a slightly more positive start to the second half. This is Waddle. So many attacks have petered out about 20 yards from goal. There doesn't seem to have been the drive and the instinct in there to carve open the sort of holes in the Turkish defence that even their own people were expecting to see. Volleyed away by Erhan. Anderson. Crowd very quiet as Erhan takes the free kick. This has been quite a lucky stadium for Turkey. They prefer to play here than in Istanbul, where the grounds are smaller, but their record here in Izmir is that much better. It's about 350 miles between the two cities. Here's Anderson for England. Now Lineker in a bit of space. Not for terribly long. He was soon cut down by Erhan. Waddle. Plenty of players forward here. Oh, and Allen's in there, and England have scored. They haven't. Free kick was given, and the goal does not stand. But imagine that was an offside decision. Chris Waddle curled the ball in. And from what we can see of it, maybe might have been a handball decision or offside, but either way the referee didn't allow it. Possible that Allen brought the ball down with his hand. So we thought we had a goal, but unfortunately we don't. Here's Hodge. Hoddle. Sign, nevertheless, that England are in fact making a rather better impression in this second half. Hodge forward again. That was Iskender looking for Ure. Iskender. Savaş. Semir coming forward. Erdal. The Turkish supporters on their feet there, thinking that Ismail might have done rather better. Got that ball in from the left wing position, but he didn't succeed. Been playing for a quarter of an hour in the second half, and there's no score between Turkey and England in the European Championship here in Izmir. To England. So Adams is forward again on the far side. Lineker starts a run, gets a touch on it. Robson's in there, ricochets off the defender, comes conveniently to Ure for Turkey. They're going to have to try and stay onside here. England have pushed up. Savaş, Hoddle. Now, can England break? The through ball is on here. Hoddle looking for Mabbutt. This thought for a minute Hoddle was going to go alone as he did at Tottenham on Saturday, but Allen and Lineker had made the earlier run. And England's frustration now showing in the challenge by Brian Robson. Here's Erhan. Erdal. Hoddle looking to release Lineker this time. Lineker. Here's Sansom. Oh, and just glanced across the face of the goal by Steve Hodge. Bit of a chance there, really, that, for Hodge, but couldn't direct his header on target. So with 17 minutes gone in the second half, it remains a rather flat occasion here. Turkey 0, England 0. But England certainly doing more of the attacking now. Anderson into Hoddle. Allen trying to get a foot in too, and Hodge, but Turkey will be delighted to have kept the score at 0-0 for so long. That represents a bit of a moral victory for them, even at this stage of the afternoon. Or it's rather more accurate to say evening here, since it's now 7:20 in Turkey. Robson, number 7 for England. Erdal. Iskender. Savaş. Iskender. A chance here for Turkey, my word. Razar to get it back in. And England having to defend with some urgency after that break by Iskender. Iskender again. And the shot, this time coming off Brian Robson. This is Hodge. Lineker. Robson again. But England really not finding each other in midfield and attack. Chris Waddle is penalised for handball. On this blustery, cold evening, the England supporters away to our left, covering themselves in their Union Jacks. And Mustafa Denizli, the coach of Turkey, must be feeling that this match has gone very much the way he planned it, rather than the way Bobby Robson wanted it to go. Tony Adams having to turn. He's got Airdale on his back. Whistle's gone for a bit of holding there. 20 minutes gone in the second half. Savaş. And Anderson couldn't hold him either. And Hassan goes very close for Turkey. He perhaps should have been closer when he looks back on the chance. England caught sleeping a little there. It wasn't Erdal, it was Hassan who cut in from the far side and shot over the bar. And Turkey have made themselves 2, if not 3, very presentable openings in the last 5 or 6 minutes. Extending the shot count even further in their favour. Ismail. Here's Chris Waddle. Robson now. Hasn't exactly been a turbocharged midfield for England this evening. In fact, you wouldn't say that any of the 4 have really made a concrete impression on the game. And consequently, the service to Lineker and Allen has been blunted, and they haven't been able to produce something out of nothing. Hence the fact the score remains 0-0. Very incohesive, but certainly from the crowd's point of view, a rather better second half than it was for the first 45 minutes. More goal action, that's for sure. And Turkey are supplying quite a lot of that just at the moment, spreading the ball out quite usefully. Ali Choban coming forward, number 4, offside. Offside against Hassan, the number 9. But these are becoming anxious minutes for England. The defence is stretched. The Turks seem to be growing in assurance all the time. And the England bench entitled to feel somewhat worried, having not managed to register at the other end. And then giving the ball away, Kenny Sansom, very carelessly from that last free kick. A measure of England's uncertainty just at present. This is Savaş. And again. And the England substitutes as a group have all been told to warm up. Could mean one of 2 things. It could mean that they're bitterly cold down there on the bench, or it could mean that Bobby Robson intends to make a change very shortly. And I don't think it would go amiss. Halfway through the second half here in Izmir. And Turkey breaking again with Hassan. Razar. Semir. Erdal waiting in the centre. This is Savaş again. letting it run to Razar. That wasn't a bad effort either. The home team have now got their local followers on their feet with a series of attacks which have stretched England. And the one thing you can say about Turkey is they're not afraid to shoot. Presented with an opportunity 25 yards out, they strike the ball with some power and some confidence. This was Razar, the number 6, who really plays right back. And Glenn Hoddle getting bypassed in midfield again. This is Iskender, and the Turks have got the whole game at the moment. That's the sweeper, Erhan, going forward. Battle in midfield is certainly not being won by England. Just wonder, without trying to make excuses, whether Robson and Hoddle, or either of them, are feeling those injuries, which have been so carefully nursed. Certainly neither has been the driving force that they can be. Here's Sansom, Hoddle now. Substitutes warming up for the moment from both teams. This is number 7, Ure, had a good match in midfield. Ismail. Erdal. Tackle was important. Anderson. 26 minutes gone in the second half here in Izmir. If you've joined the match late, it hasn't been a memorable one from the England point of view. The score is 0-0. And Turkey have certainly had the better of things in the last few minutes. But here's Lineker for England. And Chauvin makes a mistake, and Allen volleys from Robson's pass. Well, needless to say, a point dropped here by England would make our qualifying job that much harder. Another match being played in the group tonight between Northern Ireland and Yugoslavia. And down on the England bench there is activity. Mark Hateley and John Barnes, perhaps predictably, are getting ready for what looks to be a double substitution in a moment or two. And I don't think Bobby Robson dared leave it any longer. We've got 18 minutes to go, and England have not made the kind of impression in any sense in attack that one was expecting. Gary Mabbutt has joined the forwards as Glenn Hoddle prepares to take this free kick. Iskender, challenge, Kenny Sansom, Allen to his left, Lineker to his right, but Sansom seemed to get caught between the idea of a cross and a shot, and what came as a result was pretty feeble, as his gesture acknowledged. And there are the two England substitutes. Mark Hateley, the obvious threat in the air, if we can change our game rather, and John Barnes, who should be able to supply the kind of crosses that he might thrive on. Just watching the rerun of the Kenny Sansom incident. Steve Hodge and Clive Allen are the two players who've been brought off. Barnes will take up the left wing position, and Hateley will play up front with Lineker. Reserve. Sansom. Barnes. Haitley. Robson. Barnes. Well, there's a chance here for either one of the subs to make a much-needed impression. And there is Haitley, and here's Robson. Wouldn't run for him, defender in the way. It was the right idea, though. The sort of thing England must be looking for, to use Haitley's height in the old-fashioned English tactic, if you like, but nothing else has worked, so with a quarter of an hour to go, that's who they're looking for. Turkey 0, England 0, in a country where England scored 8 goals 2.5 years ago. Barnes. Volleyed clear by Erhan. And now Erdal, who's always been dangerous. There's Waddle. Well, Haitley really won that, but the foul's already been given. Turkey themselves are thinking about making a substitution at this stage. Preparing to come on. Here's Sansom. This is Barnes. Now he really has got to try and do what he did against Argentina, which seems a strange thing to say when you're playing opposition as different as Turkey, but he needs to make that immediate impression as Gary Lineker goes down heavily tackled again. He's had a really fruitless night, and the yellow card has been shown for that challenge, but almost immediately the Turks have made a substitution anyway. Ilyas has come on, number 14. Lineker has taken 4 or 5 really nasty challenges from behind, singled out obviously as the danger man by the Turks. What it will do is give England the chance maybe to find Mark Haitley from the free kick. Mabbutt is over there too. Wasn't played that way. This is Barnes. Barnes. Sansom. Whistle's gone. Ali Choban, the number 4, who was booked just then before the substitution for chopping Lineker, was described by Bobby Robson with perhaps a little bit of overstatement as a real villain when he saw him play against East Germany. He's a very tough, ruthless defender, and he was cautioned for that last tackle on Gary Lineker. Well, there are only 12 minutes to go. England have yet to score, but here's Mark Haitley. And Lineker's coming in from the far side. And how did he fail to convert that? It was almost back to the chance in Monterrey against Portugal, when you thought he was certain to score. Haitley did the right thing and somehow he couldn't make the right sort of contact, Gary Lineker. Maybe still recovering from the bashing he took a few minutes ago. It was certainly England's best move, and Hateley, having come on as a substitute, created the opportunity. You think I'm getting over-enthusiastic about that? Well, those of you who've been with the match all through will know that we haven't seen too many openings of that sort from England. The ball was in the net once, but Clive Allen's goal ruled out, and I have to say I think that must have been for offside. Here's Anderson. Waddle. Well, these Turkish players are going to be national heroes if they get so much as a goalless draw here, and they could have almost at times in the second half done better than that. They've had 2 or 3 very good shots at goal. And there are 10 minutes to go with the score Turkey 0, England 0 here in the European Championship in Izmir. Hateley gets angry now with Ali Choban. Number 14 there, who's just come on, Ilyas. Looks for the overlapping player who is Hassan, and Erdal's in the middle, and Viv Anderson having to concede the corner. Turkey playing now with pace and belief. Corner to Turkey. Ismail has gone across to take it. Hassan is in there. So is Erdal. And Woods did very well there, punching well clear. Back in by Savaş. And Erdal, goodness me, there was no flag. That was a chance. Erdal had stayed in the danger area. England pushed out. The linesman did not raise his flag. And had Erdal made contact there, well, it could so easily have been a goal. Turkey have excelled themselves in this second half, but against that one has to say that Mark Hateley, for kicking the ball away and for the challenge on Choban, has been cautioned. Choban actually had a go at Hateley a few minutes ago, and in that last challenge, Hateley was clearly looking for revenge, and the referee shows him the yellow card. The number 4 is at the centre of it all. He it was who was booked for the foul on Lineker, Ali Choban, and now Mark Hateley, trying to even things up, has himself been booked. This was the chance at the other end. He was left clear and onside. So it's a yellow card for Hateley, and frustration here all round for England. Only 8 minutes to go, no score, and if anything in the second half, Turkey having more of the goal attempts, as they did in the first half too. Here's Barnes, but there's just no pattern to the England attack. Ilyas for Turkey. Rezer. Again, one doesn't want to make too many excuses, but there are some tired England legs out there. Whether that's the culmination of a lot of league football, which Trevor Brooking referred to earlier, I'm not quite sure. On by Hateley. Waddle. Leaving the throw for Gary Mabbutt. Hateley's up with the goalkeeper. Didn't make contact properly, but forced him to drop the ball. Here's Adams. Waddle. Tries to find Lineker, but again, misunderstanding when the ball reaches the edge of the penalty area. Well, where is that clinical finishing and attacking play that we saw in Spain gone to? One reason perhaps is the man sitting in our studio, Peter Beardsley, being absent from this match. Here's Hately. Turkey waiting to bring on their second substitute. Flag's up there anyway. And the man coming on is number 15, Fayaz, who scored 17 league goals this season for Besiktas, the league leaders. We've talked about England missing certain players. Let's not forget that the Turkish manager is without his first choice 2 strikers. And he looks like pulling off what in the terms of their own country would be a quite remarkable result here. Hassan is the player coming off. There are only 5 minutes to go. It's Turkey 0, England 0. Little consolation in the fact that England still haven't let a goal in this European Championship, because after all they were expected to score a few today. Robson, Waddle, and Hately! Oh, a fine save, a really good save by Fakir. That was the sort of cross that England were looking for from Chris Waddle. The kind of header that Hately would normally produce, but a superb save by the goalkeeper. But can it lift England to something better? Lineker. Waddle again. And the goalkeeper comes this time to meet it, and he's on a high now. 29-year-old keeper from Galatasaray. It's a wonderful save. Indeed, it was the Turkish goalkeeper who thwarted our under-21s yesterday. Lineker tries to get away from Samir, his marker. Still Lineker. Robson's coming in, away by number 7, Ure. Abbott. Adams, off the number 7, Ure, into the hands of his grateful goalkeeper. Only 3 minutes to go. Oh, and a burst here from Savaş. Oh, the Turkish crowd waiting for the final whistle now. This is Mark Hately. Barnes. Hoddle, Barnes again, down on the edge of the area, no foul, says the referee, and Turkey can break. That's Erdal, this is number 14, İlyas, gets it back from Erhan, İlyas, challenge coming in from Tony Adams. Well, both goalkeepers have made one outstanding save in the second half. Woods from Erdal at the near post. Fakir from Hately's header. But that's not much consolation to England in what has been a lacklustre performance and looks like costing us a European Championship point with 2 minutes to go. Turkey might want to make it 2 if they can. Anderson half in there. Savaş. İlyas. And England having to throw the tackles in here to keep Turkey out. Well played by Barnes. In fact, there is just over a minute on our watch. And if you've been with us during the second half, well, you've seen a more exciting game than we saw before half-time. But whichever way you look at it, it's been a forgettable performance by England. Abbott. Not take anything away from Turkey, whose football has improved quite enormously since that 8-0, 5-0 double thrashing they had by England in the World Cup qualifiers. And the Turkish photographers are all round their coach, Mustafa Denizli, down on the bench. They're going to regard this as a wonderful performance in their football history. But certainly one of the best they've had in terms of the result. Holding England to a draw is almost like winning the World Cup for Turkey. And indeed, that's just what they've done. The whistle goes, and the Turkish manager is a hero as Bobby Robson walks away a little crestfallen after a performance which England will not want to remember. Certainly Turkey having as much, if not more, of the few goal attempts as England. 2 good saves, not a great deal of pattern to England's play, and obviously a lot of tiredness very apparent as England walk off, surely bitterly disappointed. It could have been worse because Turkey at one point threatened to win the game. England had a goal disallowed, offside I think, the Clive Allen effort. But we've dropped a point here in the European Championship, and the final score in Izmir is Turkey 0, England 0.
Well, indeed, a little better than the first half, but a 0-0 draw gave England 1 point there. Peter, we could have a look at that table now and just see how we stand. And give us some encouraging words over that table, Peter.
Yeah,
what are you going to do from then on?
You know, Yugoslavia have obviously got 2 goals.
Equalises for Bulgaria.
You've obviously got 2 goals.
Equalises for Bulgaria. And a shock for the 3 times world champions. 10 minutes from the end, though. Jorginho's free kick. Aldair with a header. And it gives Brazil a rather unconvincing victory, which was booed by